Hey, what's up, guys? So I wanted to touch back on the arena a little bit and my shard. And, I went through the top 20 guys in my shard, the first video I did on this. So I just want to give you guys a look at, you see what I used the last time on offense. This is what I'm still running on defense. Here's a quick look at the guys that are in the shard. And so if you're able to take a look at the last video, you'll see the movement within the top 20. Or even, we can go down a little bit more because maybe some of these guys were in and out of the top 20. Let's shoot over to my other teams I use on offense. Here are a few different looks that I have. I haven't experimented too much with like Nightcrawler or Green Goblin, but I've seen guys use that on defense. Sometimes it makes me think that those teams can work on offense, and I may try those out a bit. I have to get some thought on some combinations that can work against some of what we're going to see on defense. But let's just take a quick look at the defense, and then I want to shoot over to the Discord chat just to kind of make some comments on some of the comments that took place with a similar defense to mine, and what guys thought about that. So here you see Dr. Longshots has Vulture and Void Knight. And that may be who I got this defense from. I can't remember who had it, and it was pretty tough, and so that's why I decided to try it. I think he moved away from it, but he's back to it now. Then you have Carl. I haven't seen this defense often, but I do see it from time to time where he's got Scroll in there with Black Cat and Robbie. What I do see the most of is what Shaolin has, and that's with Hard Light and Black Knight, and usually on opposite ends, and that's the harder one to beat when they're on opposite ends. Let me see who's number 6. And the Hammer, and he's got pretty much the same defense as Carl. So I don't know if their placement order is slightly different or if this is just the grouping here. Oh no, he doesn't have Black Knight in at all. He's got Hard Light in over Black Knight. But Hard Light being a 640K, 3 diamond, she is really hard to beat, to get out of there. She's usually last to kill. And then he's got 3 diamond Robbie, so I can see this working pretty well. Let's take a look at the chat though. This is the first video I did when I put a look at the top 20. And so this is the defense that was posted, and I was like, wait a minute, this looks exactly like mine, because at that time I think I had a 1 diamond on Vulture, and I had, so I don't have 6 red on Black Knight. I had 5 red. But anyway, Alpha Glance, I thought this was like my defense, because I think I was fluctuating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there on that day. And you can see the comments. He says, has anyone found out how to beat this team? And then Jex goes in and says, a mirror, which, I can see that working. And then, that's when I asked if this was me. But as we go down, guys were asking, so this is the best defense. And I don't think it's the best defense. I think it's just a variation of defenses where you have to keep switching things up to keep guys off balance. And I think number 1 has that, because I haven't really figured out how to beat it consistently. I'm beating it like 20% of the time. And so that's just more luck than anything else. But, if I can get back there in this video, you guys will see what is in the top 5. And so hopefully I can get an attack in on number 6 or number 5, and then you guys can see what's up top. And I can get 2 or 3 attacks in, because I usually try to use all 5 of my arena attacks. It helps me so I don't have to really blitz too much. And here, you see what Jex says, like, is that the best defense? Says, hell no. Marky comes in and kind of talks about what he sees. So you see starting to run into people using Ghost Rider, Black Cat, APOC, Black Knight, and Hard Light / Super Scroll. And so that's what I'm getting at, because I'm seeing variations of this. And it's like, it's no longer like a 5 piece. Guys are fluctuating 8 or 9 different tunes with this combination, maybe 10. And so it can throw guys off, because until you learn how to beat it or beat it consistently, and then it makes for more counters that you have to have in your roster. So then you have to keep track of which counter works on which team. And so when you move stuff around like that, sometimes guys can just jump in, and because I've done that, and maybe have the wrong team, and then they'll lose because they didn't really pay attention to what they were using against what you have on defense. And so as you go down and you're looking at the comments, you're still seeing things like Black Knight and Scroll. And as much as we've talked about Super Scroll not being as effective in Arena, he's still very effective in Arena. And that's on offense and defense. So just because Black Knight is there doesn't mean don't get Super Scroll or don't use your Super Scroll. You just have to be selective in how you're going to use your scroll. And for, at least in my shard, which, this is a 4-year-old shard, guys are still finding ways to keep on using Super Scroll. And so I would just suggest that if you can, if you have them, try to find a way to use them. And it's still very useful to go get Super Scroll if you're still working on DD6. I think this is where I was just kind of saying how sometimes I can drop, to 5 or 9, and you can see right now I dropped to 9, and that could be, 2 attacks that did that. That could be a combination of 3 attacks that did that, or whatever it is. Because I think I only got to 5, top 5 yesterday before I ran out of my attacks. So I wasn't number 1, but even when I'm number 1, I can drop to 9, or sometimes even lower. But this particular defense, I haven't dropped lower than 9, and so that makes me think that it's just the guys in the top 10 that have figured out how to beat this defense, and the guys lower than that haven't had much chance to go against it. So they either are avoiding it, or they haven't, they don't have an interest in trying to figure out how to beat it. And so here you see X-Men Viper. He says, yeah, but that's because of the opponent's lack of activity in 0% of what's on defense. And my response to him is pretty much what I'm talking about here. But let's just jump back to the ranking here. And I think as you guys will start seeing throughout the videos, you'll see that there's activity, but it's mostly the same guys in the top 10 and in the top 20. That's where the movement takes place. And what I've noticed is that guys that are able to hold on to the top 10, and then of course guys that are in the top 10 and top 20, there is less activity in the sense of trying to get to the top 20, because there's, you make bigger leaps when you can make bigger leaps when you're in the top 50 to get to the top 20, but there's more guys attacking on a regular basis. So I'm not quite sure what that means when they say less activity, because I use all 5 of my attacks. So I don't know if that's what he's getting at. Like, are you saying use more than 5 attacks, or are you saying activity meaning watch the clock and get all 5 of your attacks in just before the reset takes place? But I just figure if you're using all 5 attacks, then you're active. If you're using 3 or 4 attacks, you're still pretty active. So let's go in and see what we can use to at least get an attack in here to see if I can climb the ladder a bit. I would try hammer, but that 3 diamond hard light is a question mark. But I think the defense I have right now the offense I'm using right now could beat it. Shaolin is number 5, and he's got the same thing: 3 diamond hard light, 3 diamond Robbie. But since he's number 5, let's go in with not this team. Let's go in with this team, because I don't think I need hard light on that one. And we'll see how this goes. So I don't keep exact track of all my counters. I don't write them down. I don't keep a spreadsheet on it. But it may become important to do that because it's turning into needing a few or even several because these defenses are changing up so much. Now you can see that my scroll is gone, and so what I'm going to have to rely on here is my APOC getting a turn. And if he doesn't, then it's pretty much over. And he didn't. So this one is over. So we'll just play it through, and then I'll come back. And what I may do is just try the same exact one so you guys can see the RNG behind it. Um, because that is a lot of what happens here is the RNG. Or I may let me see if I hit this here. Or I may try a different team. Okay, so he's dead. I think if we get Black Knight out of there, then it's over. And what I'll do is I'll go through the well, they both died. Okay, so I'll go through my T4s because I think what happens too is the T4s make a huge difference on Black Cat. And so let's just take a look at Black. Well, we'll take a look at all of them, but I think I have all of these guys T4, and I took them to level 100, so that makes a difference. But Black Cat, it does make a difference to have her basic and her ultimate maxed out. And so if you can get into what is it, the raid store, I think is where it is. If you get into the raid store and you can farm that and you can get this, it does make a difference. Now, let's just see. So what it has here is in arena, if this character has trauma, apply trauma to the primary target. In arena, if primary target has safeguard, gain safeguard. And so you can see how Black Cat was the one that really made a difference there at the end. She just survived and she was able to flip the match. What happens is you end up relying on this basic more. And so 60% piercing to the primary target, apply 2 bleeds to the primary target. And as you can see, the Robbie and APOC bled out. And over the course of the match, Black Knight was extremely weakened because of the bleeds. And so I suppose in the next match, what I'll do is we'll click on each tune that I'm hitting so you can see just how many bleeds are on there or what exactly is taking place, like with trauma or safeguard if it's been removed, how many vulnerables are on there. So you guys can see how effective Black Cat still is in arena. Now, I'm not saying that she's the effective piece or as effective on defense anymore, but she is still very effective on offense. So that's something to keep in mind, as well as, of course, Robbie. But I think the difference is when you're looking at Robbie, yeah, because I don't see the arena call out in his passive. I think you're just going to look at how you can strategically use him for the bleeds and his ability block, if you can, who you're going to block. And I think that sets the match up to where you can get a win. And I think in certain situations, you're going to want to use your Robbie when you're talking about offense. And then depending on the defense that's there, you may want to use hard light. I've had matches where this Kang and Void Knight can do extremely well. And then sometimes when I've tried on certain defenses thinking it would work, Kang and Void Knight don't even take a turn. And that's amazing to me how they won't take a turn. But typically, it could be because of a big time Spider Man or somebody like that that just kind of negates them. And so this defense with Vulture and Void Knight is pretty good on offense, but you have to really be selective in what you're looking at using that on. And so let's just jump back over and see what's in the top 5. And so in the top 5, you got Sherbert, which on that particular offense, I'd probably use his defense, I'd use the same offense that I have. The Jughead, I could see that Kang, Void Knight offense working. And then you're back to Naughty having the same thing as what we're going against a lot. So I'd use the same offense I have right now. And Uptown Monk would pretty much be the same as what we're using right now. we'll go in and we'll come back and we'll take a look at Jughead in a little bit just to see if that Void Knight Kang works on this, because I believe it does off memory. And like I said, it may be time to start doing a spreadsheet to keep track of the counters here, and so that way, guys can refer to that. I can refer to that, and it's something that could be useful. But for the moment, we've got 8.5 more minutes. So let's just I'll stop the video here. We'll come back and we'll see if we can't get two more attacks in, maybe on three, and then whoever's number one at that time, just so we can have some comparisons. All right, guys. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, now you guys are seeing the top five, including me, positions. And just to recap, I'm looking at going into number three because it looks like four, two, and one are pretty similar. And so we'll give this a shot just to see what's going on here. We're going with wait, no. We're going with the Kang variation. Yeah, so Void Knight gets to go first with this setup. And what I'll do is I'll block his Void Knight. My Kang should be able to go. We'll see what happens, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so my Kang goes. I think we're going to still hit his Void Knight just because we can hit everybody. Yeah, so those are pretty good hits. Now, this is what's particular. Okay, well, he killed his APOC, but sometimes APOC doesn't go after Black Knight, and I've been wondering why that is. All right, so we'll have to hit his hard light. All right, so that's that for that. And so hard light should be out of there. All right, guys. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. And most likely, I think I'm just going to go for whoever is number one at the time. So, unfortunately, guys, I went in on an attack on number two. And I thought it was recording, and something happened. I guess I tapped again or something, and the recording didn't happen. It was a failed attempt. I went in with I'll just show you guys. I went in with this team here, and I think, when I'm thinking back, I think it's Uptown Monk is the one I have not figured out how to beat yet. So, what I do when it's a case like that, and I experimented just for the sake of the video, but what I'll do sometimes is I'll go in and I'll take a look at what guys are using, because most likely Sherbert beat Uptown Monk. So let's see what Sherbert has for his offense right now. Sherbert is using Black Knight and Hard Light, Black Cat, Robbie, and APOC. So no scroll, and that probably is the best way to go. So let's just try that and see, because I've used that counter, but I'm just not sure how I use it on. So maybe I have used it on Uptown Monk. I can't remember for sure. So we'll try it one more time, and we'll try it with this one here. And I think for defense, I like the idea of Hard Light being on the other side, but for offense, we're going to try it like this and see what happens, just to experiment. Okay, so I'm not seeing where I'm able to really get any real damage in on Scroll or APOC, so this could be a problem. We'll see what Black Cat can do, because she's probably going to be the key to this, I would think. So, I think this just depends on who APOC goes after. Okay, he goes after Hard Light, which is probably better. And we'll see if my Scroll can do some damage before he bleeds out. Well, he's dead anyway. All right, so this counter is not the counter, I don't think, anyway. I can't get off of Hard Light. The APOC doesn't go before a scroll and it's over. Or my APOC, that is. Oh, his scroll bled out too. All right, so this may be a chance. I didn't get rid of his APOC, and I can't get over to him. So it's going to come down to if my Black Knight can live long enough. I think we got to get rid of his APOC. All right, so maybe here. And this is where Black Cat seems to come in handy. Okay, got him. So this is a sketchy counter, but it does work. And I don't know, what was that, the mirror? So we'll come back and just use the last attack just to get the number one spot. I'll get knocked down either way, so it's not really a big deal. And we'll see, how it goes with this team sitting at the going to get beat. So if we go with, just to mix it up, because guys haven't used this in a while. They haven't used the Green Goblin Nightcrawler, I think, in a while. Where is my Nightcrawler and Green Goblin? I can't remember the placement order for this. I think it's like this. Let's just try this, because sometimes guys forget counters. I mean, I know I do when you haven't seen it in a while. And we'll come back in around 15 minutes and see if we can't just secure this spot and see how long that see how long this other defense holds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this last attack just to get the number one spot. Trying to think of what I would use here. I can't remember what I was using. I think I was using the Robbie one here, the Robbie team. So we're going with this one and see how it does. I don't think this placement order works best for him. Even if Black Knight were switched over to where Hard Light is, it may be better, but this gives my Black Cat a chance to hit his Black Cat. And I think that kind of helps me. Yeah, so here, okay, so he chained this time to Hard Light, but what we're going to do, let's take a look at Robbie. Here's Robbie. Wow, how's that up so high? Here's Robbie has Heal Block. Let's see what happens if we hit his APOC. We can do anything. Yeah, we got something on him. So his APOC now has a Heal Block, slow, defense down, 1, 2, 3 bleeds, and 2 vulnerables. So we'll go in with our APOC. Yeah, we took him out. Oh, wow, that was pretty quick. So we're just going to put this on auto and let it finish out. All right, so now let's just take another look at my defense. This is what we're trying out here, just because I don't think guys have seen this in a little bit, and we'll see, how it does. I don't expect to do great. I could drop to the teens, but if I do, I would at least use an additional attack to try to get in the top 10 if that turns out to be the case. So we will see how this goes, guys, and then I'll wrap this video up and try to get it out. All right, guys. Okay, guys. So it looks like I got attacked with 16 minutes left on the clock. And, most likely I'll probably get attacked again. So usually in situations like this, what I'll do is, I'll try to time the clock. So Jughead took me out. Okay. I'll try to time the clock and then come in and, get the 1, 2 spot, 3 spot, something like that. So Sherbert is back up in there. He's 3. Nadi is at 4. Who's got 2? And so Uptown Monk is still at 2. And that just makes me think that there's only a couple people that have really gotten into where they're beating his defense. Because I don't know what it is about this. Maybe he changed it, or maybe it's not Uptown Monk, or maybe they just didn't decide to attack him. But one of the guys, I thought it was Uptown Monk, had the defense that was a little tricky. But at the moment, he's just got in there. I think what most guys have been running. No, on second thought, he's got in place of Robbie, and he's got a 7 red scroll. So that must be what the deal is. So what I'll do is I'll come back in as we get a little bit closer to the 5 minute mark, maybe 6, 7 minute mark, something like that. See if I can get some attacks in. But I just wanted you guys to have a quick look at what's going on, because sometimes when guys they do those attacks, they were already planning on how they're gonna try to bounce things around the last 5 minutes, as since they didn't wait to the last 5 minutes to take me out of the number one spot. So if I go in and I attack number one, they could skip me around and I'd be down to 9 or 10. So I have to just think about maybe not going for number one, because those things can happen. But at any rate, we'll see how it goes in the next 7 or 8 minutes. See what we can get done. So we got a few minutes left. Let's see. Oh, Jughead took number one. Well, let's see if we get Jughead. Okay, can't get Jughead. Uptown Monk. I'm not gonna beat him. Yeah, this is this is the offense I normally use on that one. So we got 4 minutes. See what we can do here. All right, so we'll go in once again with the special on Black Knight, and then we'll hit the special again from Black Cat, because I really do think Black Cat is pretty key still for offense. Can I flip any of these? No, we're gonna have to use Robbie special there. All right, let's see what we get going, because they're gonna get their turn to hit me. And here we go. We'll hit his APOC. All right, so who is he going after? Okay, he went after Black Knight and got him. Took him out the picture. All right, so let's see what we get here. His APOC is now gone, and couldn't take out his hard light. All right, so let's see if we can take out his Black Cat. No, we couldn't. Oh, we did. Okay, so we're going to pause it here, because I think what's going to happen is we're going to have to manage the clock if we're going to have a chance to win this. If my Black Cat doesn't survive, then it's going to be a problem, but hopefully she does. I think there's the same battle I showed you guys earlier. We're just running it back, but it's playing out slightly differently here. And then we'll see if I can pull this out. Okay, so there's about a minute left in this match. Let's see if we can get going here. All right, let's see if this ability block helps us. He resisted. Okay, so I think I may be going to lose this one. Yeah. Okay, Black Cat. Black Cat is holding on, though. That's where the basic comes in. That's why you T4 her basic. Very close match. So this is where we'll see if I maintain the ranking number 3 after time runs out. If it's worth the 25 cores I spent. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so at least I finished number 3. So that's what I wanted you guys to take a look at. And we'll jump in to see what was used to beat this defense I put up. Was it Sherbert? I think Sherbert was number 1 at the time. And so Sherbert, or was it somebody else? I can't remember now. But maybe Sherbert beat it. He used this. I think it was Jughead. Maybe Jughead had beat it, but pretty much the same team. So this gives you guys an idea of what's going on, at least in my shard, and some ways to try to play around with some defenses and some offenses, and try to get yourself into the top 20 or the top 50 or whatever it is your next goal. Okay, guys, chat later.